Hello. Take a seat. I'll be with you in one moment. I'm just finishing up the application from the previous applicant who was before you. Usually, when a new applicant sits down in front of me, I am all ears, but we have been rather inundated with field operative applicants recently, I'm sure you can appreciate. So we have a little bit of a backlog. I will be with you in one moment. I trust you found this place okay? Usually is a little surprising to applicants when we ask them to attend one of our satellite offices. Despite what James Bond may have told you, field operatives rarely, if ever, head to HQ for understandable reasons. Were you offered a tea or coffee or water before you entered? Okay. Well, if you change your mind at any point, then by all means, please do let me know. Refreshments are just a click of a button away. Okay. That is that completed. So welcome. Welcome here to the next stage of your MI5 interview process. I'm sure you already know at this stage how extensive and far-reaching this process is. Let me just check if I have this right, that you are applicant number 34577. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, let me just pull up your file. Okay, and at this stage I always check with all applicants. We remind them at every single step of the process that this is a completely confidential application process and you must not share with anybody, be it your closest and nearest and dearest loved ones, family members, friends, lovers, social media. You must not divulge any detail about your application process to the Secret Intelligence Service. Now, I know that you've marked here on your file that you are okay with that, but it is always worth checking in for your consent to continue with this process based on your acknowledgement of that disclaimer. Okay. And of course, you do understand that until this process concludes, and for a grace period of up to 2 years after your application, be it successful or otherwise, your family members, friends, those that we've identified as part of your social circle, will continue to be monitored for security purposes. Unfortunately not. We can't provide you with the list of those individuals. Of course, your family members, you can no doubt figure those out. But we're not at liberty to divulge or disclose the list of names in which we're monitoring, which would somewhat defeat the point, would it not? Okay. Are you sitting comfortably? You do look a little bit tense. I do understand that this is quite a high-pressured scenario. I have been doing this for 10 years, so I fully understand the apprehension and the anxiety involved with this process. I'll tell you what, before I hit record, before we start this interview, why don't you just take a couple of breaths? I like to think of my rib cage as an inflatable beach ball. You close your eyes for a moment and inhale in the beach ball. And you squeeze the air out of the beach ball. Just do that a couple of times. You look much better. I don't know about you, but I feel like I am personally very relaxed and ready to start this interview process. Okay. This is the interview of applicant 34577 for the field operative position. 34577 has continued to give consent and acknowledges the security aspects of the application process. And we will now commence an exploration of their file. Now, hang on a minute, 34577. This isn't an application, is it? This is a referral. You've been approached for this position. You haven't applied for it. That changes things slightly. Okay. Now, I have been doing this for 10 years or so, like I said, and I have noticed a marked decline in referrals. A great uptick in applications, which is great as we continue to develop our diversity and inclusion practices. But finding individuals out there in the wild, so to speak, based on their acumen, achievements, and abilities, I haven't seen that for a while. The last referral I had, I think, was about 3 years ago. Now, before I show my age by wattling on about how they don't make them how they used to, that's why we don't see as many referrals before, I can see here on your file that you were approached at your Institute of Education, and yeah, you've shown an exemplary proficiency and capability in both, not all the humanities, but a great proficiency for the English language and literature, the spoken word, and also mathematics. Again, I don't want to get on my political soapbox here, but I do find in this day and age we are rather creating specialists in one particular area rather than just trying to see what happens when individuals are allowed to fully pursue their own desires and passions to the full extent of their abilities within their educational institutions, of course. Because it seems here that you have undertaken quite extensive extracurricular activities, haven't you? Talk me through those, particularly with your exploration of English history. You've written a few papers on the Middle Ages and the Renaissance period. Take me through that. Okay. Oh, fascinating. Okay. I find that I barely have time these days to be able to actively read as much as I would like to. I end up actually having to condense my reading by shamefully listening at bedtime. There's some gentleman online with wears these white gloves, reads through history books. I find it quite relaxing. On the mathematics side, it does seem that you've engaged in a number of mathematics projects outside your Institute of Learning, which, again, they don't make them how they used to, so good on you. I don't often see the pursuit of mathematics and the sciences outside of educational institutions as much anymore. The spoken word, dramatics, physical activities, of course, but mathematics. Take me through that a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Yes, that makes sense. I mean, when I look at if I pull up your screening assessment, yes. Yes, of course, as you know, you had a rather lightweight, we should call it, case scenario. You're given a identity and a backstory, and you are asked to respond in a number of scenarios in a fictional country, weren't you? And it does look like you have a keen eye for detail. You certainly have picked up on the base elements that we'd expect somebody to achieve by this point. Selecting the relevant meals as per your backstory at the restaurant. Of course, vegans don't have lamb, do they? And of course, you have retained information given to you quite well, particularly with names. We don't have any time here for, I can never remember names. I'll put a name to the face. So you've done that very well. But it does look like you've added some additional elements when we gave you the opportunity to do so. Yes. Well done. You found the additional comments section, hidden, of course, in that mathematical formula in the paintwork of that last image you saw. You solved that. It provided you with the additional information. Text box. Again, I would say that in this process, we usually let that one go, but we do see if anyone picks up on it due to special circumstances. So, well done you. And you're quite right. You've picked up on a number of. Yeah, you picked up on what's the word you picked up on 15 out of 15. Neuro-linguistic programming elements and the subject here. Contextual. Yeah. Yeah, you picked up on all 15. Absolutely wonderful. I would usually reserve this to the end, but seeing as we happen to be talking about it, we set you up with that assessment on your attentiveness and your level of detail. So let's just see how well you can do now. You were brought into this room by 3 individuals. All three of them, had cufflinks, but one of them did not have a cufflink on one arm, on one wrist. Who was that? And what was the colour of the cufflink that was missing? As you were being brought into this room, I understand one of my colleagues would have explained the history of the organisation. What was the third sentence that they raised? As you were walking into the office environmentally, what did you notice that you would suggest did not belong. And why? There will be a mathematical element to this assessment as well, but I will give that to you to complete in your own time within this building, of course, and we'll get to that at the very end of this particular assessment. So let's have a look then. Okay. So we'll do some classic interview stuff now, if you wouldn't mind sharing. Give a brief summary of your relevant work experience and any skills that make you a suitable candidate for NI5 as a field operative. Mm-hmm. 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 And for how long were you doing that? Okay. I want you to discuss your ability to handle high pressure situations. Can you give an example of a time when you were under significant stress and you managed to overcome that? Mm-hmm. Wow, okay. High pressure indeed. And with that, you've shown me some ability and some acumen to solve complex problems. That's why you're sitting in this seat to begin with. But take me through another example outside of this environment where you've encountered a complex problem and you've solved it. And give me your process, give me your formula, give me your approach to problem solving. Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. How do you find the ability to replicate that in future problems? Were you able to take any learnings from that experience and apply them into additional contexts, additional scenarios? Mm. Yes. Okay. Well, understandably, then, with that, we do value critical thinking because, of course, we do. That's one of the things that you would have thought that a field operative would be able to achieve. Could you provide or employ? Could you provide an example of a situation where you had to analyze a large amount of information and make an informed decision under time constraints? Mm-hmm. Okay. And with that information, obviously, what we value and prioritize is confidentiality, trustworthiness. How do you ensure the security of sensitive information in your previous roles? How would you apply this to this organization? Considering that you may not always have access to the technology and tools um, that you may have had previously. Okay. 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 I understand. So I'm going to do something that you're perhaps not familiar with, you've not experienced in any kind of interview context in the past. So go with it. We currently have a number of, let's call them scanning devices, active in this room right now. They've been monitoring your vital signs throughout the interview. They've been looking at the subtlest nuances in your facial muscles and the tension within your body. Now, I've made this known to you on purpose. I'm introducing, no doubt, a little element of stress, the additional layer of observation placed upon you, which is now, no doubt, releasing some cortisol into your system and creating an adrenaline-based response. With that in mind, I'm going to present you with a cover story, and all I want you to do is listen to it, and I'm going to give you the key skills and expertise that are required of you and the personality traits that are expected within this cover story, and be in the moment. Just simply listen. Scanners will do the rest. So, of course, you are a native of London. You've grown up in a family with a long history of military service. Completed an undergraduate degree in international relations at the University of Cambridge, and you've taken a master's degree in strategic studies at the War Studies Department of King's College, London. Of course, you were approached as you are a political analyst for a private security firm specializing in global security threats and counter-terrorism strategies. Now, as part of your cover story, your cover identity, you are to work as a freelance journalist. You focus on international affairs and geopolitical developments. Your work will often take you to various conflict zones and hotspots around the world, which allows you to gather critical intelligence while maintaining the facade of a non-threatening profession. You are fluent in multiple languages, including Arabic and Russian, and this enables you to blend seamlessly into different cultures and environments. Your strategic thinking, coupled with deep understanding of global security issues, makes you a valuable asset for intelligence gathering and analysis. Additionally, your experience in high-stakes environments has honed your ability to remain calm and composed under pressure, essential for successfully navigating sensitive missions. You are known for your resourcefulness, adaptability, strong interpersonal skills, and your ability to build rapport and establish trust with individuals from diverse backgrounds that have facilitated successful information collection and collaborative efforts in complex operational settings. Well done. The scanners have the information that they need. Now I understand. What were they looking for? Well, in this role, you may find yourself at points where you believe you may be exposed or put under huge amounts of pressure, and you will not be without challenge. Sometimes simply being given your cover story can elicit feelings of apprehension, doubt, worry, fear. Now, although you may be feeling that internally, because you are a human being after all, your ability to mask those and develop biophysical strategies in which to mitigate and reduce the amount of adrenaline that you may be experiencing, or the impact of that cortisol or adrenaline response on your body, are absolutely essential for maintaining a cover. We are only as strong as our weakest field agent, 34577. If any of us were to expose what we were doing, then the whole thing collapses like a pack of cards pretty easily. Okay. Communication is crucial within our agency. How would you adapt your communication style when interacting with different types of people? Can you put a term or a process on what you are doing with me right now, and how may that change with, say, a farmer in East Russia? And what kind of things did you have to consider in that environment? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well done. That concludes this interview with applicant 34577. So we will hand over the mathematical assessment to you now, 34577. And once you have concluded, you will be shown the exit to the building, and we will maybe see you again, maybe not see you again. Who knows? I'm not at liberty to divulge. One thing is for sure, which is that this satellite site will not be here soon. We change and alter the location of our offices in a irregular but frequent basis. That is obviously to protect the identity of all of the agents within this application process and yourself, of course. So thank you so much, 34577, for your time, and I wish you all the best with all of your endeavors, regardless of where they may take you. It's been wonderful meeting you, and I will allow our agents to escort you out of the building. Have a fantastic day.